Hi, everybody. Happy Monday. It's a little cloudy and gloomy here, but it's still a fantastic day. We're excited about the fact that it's a rainy day because we need the water. So grateful for that.
And I love cloudy, rainy days. They're my favorite.
I know, Sheila. She was out hiking in the rain yesterday.
It didn't last long, though. I was like, oh, well, when I went out, there was a little break. And so it was so beautiful and the clouds were gorgeous. And then it caught up to me. So then I was like,
yeah, and then it rained hard. It wasn't a sprinkle.
Yeah.
Anyways, yeah, beautiful day regardless, although I do enjoy and prefer the sunny because that makes that, affects me emotionally, but I am still grateful for the water and the rain and the beauty of what that is too. So thank you if you're watching this video, you've probably watched some of our other previous videos, and this one is just the final goodness of what our series has been. And so if you're starting to watch this when you haven't watched the previous ones, I would highly encourage you to watch the others. And they're also on Alicia's YouTube. They'll be on mine eventually, but they're on Alicia's YouTube channel, which is just Alicia Cottom.
I think so. I don't know. Does it have another name?
Anyway, so you could go there and watch them in order if you'd like. But we have had the best time. I know I have learned just so much. Alicia actually, has had a deeper education on this. And so for me, getting to, walk alongside what she has learned has been just so amazing. No wonder she's been so excited about the education that she's received in these areas. So last time we were on here, we went through all the different things that we have kind of learned. Alicia, do you want to kind of just a recap of the topics, not necessarily, but
okay. Help me if I don't remember all of them. So we started with body and really connecting ourselves to our body, because it can be a disconnect there for us for whatever reason. So body, let's see, what is reflection. Okay, so taking note of our mental chatter and what's going on in our mind, and then reflecting on what's that?
Emotions. Oh, did you?
Yeah. Just reflecting on where we are in our mind and how that affects us throughout our days. Yes, emotion, just allowing whatever comes up for us at that moment, or if we need to just hold on for a little bit and process a little bit later, just allowing those emotions to come up and not having judgments or criticizing ourselves for those emotions, but allowing them to be there so that we can process them and work through them. Because if we, I'm sure you guys have heard us quote this book, but if we don't allow those emotions to be seen and felt and heard, then if we bury them alive, they'll always be there. We will always have those, the feelings buried alive never die. That's the book that we always refer to, but for many times. So yeah, that's a big one.
Let me just say that was a big piece for me, because I feel like I was always fighting with, I shouldn't feel this way. I don't want to do that. I don't want to feel this way. Like in my own mind, just like pushing away those uncomfortable emotions, when learning to let them be is part of processing them so that they won't come up, and I'm not always pushing away or fighting those feelings, but like letting them be, and like knowing that I have to feel those emotions, allow myself to feel them.
Yeah, and being curious with, why are they coming up right now? Because sometimes we feel like we have worked through them and we've done so much work on certain things, but just allowing it. And then attention, is that right? Is that the next one? Is attention, and that is really just having the awareness of what's going on in our life, whether it's awareness for aches and pains in our body, or the thoughts again that are coming in that are derailing us for the day and not allowing it, learning how to not allow that to take over our days. But yeah, focusing on and having that attention for ourselves. Thoughts, is that it? Or consciousness?
Consciousness. Mhm.
Consciousness. So yeah, just again, having the awareness, being in the moment and not just being mindless in the things that we're doing in our daily lives, but having that, asking ourselves, what is it that I need in this moment right now? What do I need? How am I fueling my body? How am I fueling my self-care areas? Different things like that, right? Is that
Yep.
what that
And
one?
then healthy mind habits.
Oh, thank you. Healthy mind habits. So really just even putting all of those things together of, okay, having our, again, awareness is such a big thing, because if we don't have that, we're either being numb to life or we're not being present in the moment.
We're an autopilot.
So taking all
Mindless.
of those little pieces of the puzzle and putting them into daily habits, or however often, I guess, if it doesn't become daily, as long as you are making a habit out of it somehow, so that you can stay in a healthy mindset and healthy body, and yeah, just continuing with
I love that focus of the whole series, is because we've always talked about healthy lifestyle, right? And that's like outward body, like fueling our bodies, stuff like that, exercising, and all those things are very important. But healthy mind habits, my word, that is so massive. And I feel like it does have to be daily, because how many thoughts go through our mind on a daily basis? If we only do that twice a week or once a week, that's not enough.
Who was I with? Somebody that I was with recently told me that we have 70,000 thoughts coming
right?
out of our mind every day. So yeah, which ones?
Outrageous.
Huh?
I said, that's outrageous.
Yeah, it's outrageous.
That's how our mind works. So healthy mind habits is just so massive.
Yeah.
And so I love that we focused on that in the series. So go back and
it was Rebecca. It was Rebecca who was telling me that. So
yes. And so like go back and just we of course definitely expand on each of those things in a deeper way, so that you can start to lean into that and use those tools, so that you can be living your life more consciously. And then today, in the final session, we're going to talk about empowerment. And now that we have turned inward and we have been focused completely on ourselves, and the name of the series was Fall in Love with Ourselves, right? And so we have learned how our mind works. We're listening to what's happening. We're aware. We are learning to be our own best friend, to support ourselves in every way, emotionally, physically, to just be in the moment, to learn to be present, to like learn to cherish every moment that we have in our vessel. Like now that we have done all that work throughout this series, now we're going to empower others to do the same. And so because there is no greater gift, to say, this is what I have learned and it's helped me so much. And so maybe it can help you so much too. And I think that we have to get away from thinking that we have to be an expert in something, because you guys, the reason we started this series was because I needed it. Alicia has recently been living this whole healing journey, and so I was like, okay, I after what we've been through this last, through the pandemic and how hard it was on our emotional state, and on top of that, people are dealing with even more difficult life trials and stuff like that. And so I needed it to restore myself, you know?
I also need it still. It's a constant thing.
Yes.
Easy to slip back out of things
Oh,
that
yes.
we've learned. So it's staying in that education of, okay, I do. And I love it. I love the things that we have been learning along the way. And I feel like I always learn more. Every time I review something, it's like, oh, another, maybe a different shift of where I'm at in that point.
Mhm.
So it's always good to just continue on.
Yeah, like a new perspective of whatever you know, moment you're, or learning moment that you're in. Um, and a lot of these things we may have learned throughout life, and now we just have to remember them or relearn them and fit them into our life so that we can have a complete tool set of how we want our life to look and what needs we have, and just living in consciousness. So that's the goal of the whole series, is to live in consciousness and not be on autopilot and not self-sabotage and not, you know, just be going, why am I going through this again and again and again? Like, we can be the drivers of our life if we learn to master what's happening in our bodies and learn to appreciate and love ourselves. And so that's been the goal. So in the process of this, so back to my point of not needing to feel like you're an expert to be able to share the things. So as we've been sharing these things, we've been learning simultaneously, you know. It's like putting yourself out there without feeling like, okay, I have so much to offer now that I've got all this education in me, I'm an expert, I've got it all figured out, so now I can teach people. It doesn't work that way. I mean, it can work that way if that's the way you choose it, but it can also be just sharing what you're learning, like what we've been doing here, and then beyond. So as we've been teaching this, we've also been, Alicia, tell them what we've been doing recently.
Okay. So back in February, we were talking about what our goals were. Maybe it was January still. It was January, huh? But then I think
yeah, we were talking about creating this whole series. Yeah.
Yes, and so we were talking about creating and then a little bit about what our goals were with the information that we've been learning along the way. And Anita and I had known this because we had talked about it before, but she brought up that she wanted to bring this into the women's retreat house for women that are recovering from addictions. And they live in the home and they are, you know, getting clean and learning how to love themselves. And, you know, just it's amazing to watch them. But anyway, so I was like, oh, okay, yeah, that would be awesome. We'll have to look into that. And then she's like, I actually have their phone number right now. Let's call. And we were in my car, just in a drive. I don't remember where we were, but I'm like, oh, okay, yeah, let's call. And she gets a hold of the lady, and the lady says, we're actually having a meeting tonight if you want to come and present what you're thinking about.
Like a board meeting.
A board meeting, yeah. And I was like, oh, wow. That went quicker than I thought. Anyway, it was the funniest thing because it was just like, boom, let's do this. Let's call. I have the number. Boom. Yes. Oh, we have an opening tonight for you guys to come and speak and kind of tell us what your plans are. And then 2 weeks later, we were in and starting this with those ladies. And it has been so amazing. I have goosebumps right now because I just love being able to be in their presence, and they have taught me so much. Their love is so grand, and it's just amazing to be there with them and to watch them really wanting to turn their lives around. They're in this place because they are tired of the life that they've been living, and they want more for themselves, and they want to succeed, and they want to be a better person, and they're tired. And it's been incredible. And I really do feel like the things that we have brought into their consciousness
Mhm.
has been extraordinary for them, and for them to feel like, oh, I can love myself, or I can forgive myself. I don't need validation from other people. I can give that to myself. And it's just, it's been little steps, but it's been amazing. I love it so much.
And so it was a little scary, right? Because everything happened so fast. And you almost feel like, okay, am I prepared for this? But I feel like the only expertise that you need in a situation like that, when you're serving, is love and compassion. Because if you're coming from there, nothing else matters. Like, nothing else matters. We are neurologically designed to be generous, to be serving. When we do that from a place of no other attachments but love and compassion, you guys, I can't even begin to describe what that gives back to you. Like, it's the feeling that I strive to feel all the time, because it's filled with so much oh my gosh, it's just like a magical place to leave there and to know that we were able to serve them and to give them something that may not have been on the radar previously. And we just leave there so elevated. And I hope that we leave them elevated. So like, that's just what life is about, to be able to give to others in that manner. The very important thing is that there's a whole lot of when we're serving or when we're doing something for others or being generous, it's hard to not have there be a lot of other attachments around those things. And if there are a lot of other attachments around those things, you don't get to that elevated state. You know what I'm saying? So let me explain that just a little bit more. Is if you are nice to someone because you have expectations of what you want them to give you back because of, gift giving or doing something because you have expectations, you will always be disappointed. And that's not the kind of service we're talking about here. And even if like, for instance, there's some fundraiser or something else that's happening like they do at the stores. For me, it's like, do you want to give an extra dollar for starving children? Like, if you're doing it from a place of guilt giving and you're like, well, everybody else is donating, or I don't want to say no in front of everybody, if you're feeling like it's a guilty thing and you do it, it doesn't give you the same satisfaction as if you're doing it from a place of doing something for nothing. Like, you're just putting yourself out there because it's coming from a place of love and it's coming from a place of compassion, and that's it. Like, you just want to be there, you want to serve. And it can look like a whole bunch of different things. It doesn't have to look like going into a rehab, because I know that that can seem very intimidating, because if the reason that we go there is because that's my past. I come from a past of addiction, and so I can feel comfortable going in with those ladies because they are my people. Like, I can relate to them. I know where they're at because it's where I've been. And Alicia can come in there because she brings in a magical tool of yoga and meditation for those ladies, where body movement reconnects them to their bodies. They remember, the gratitude that they have for their bodies. Meditation helps them reconnect to their heart and their mind and their spirit. And those are all things that they're starving for, that we're all starving for. I find it really interesting that we're able to teach the same tools to ladies, moms, business leaders, whatever is here in, like where we're at here in this very call, that we're able to teach that same content in a rehab where they can't leave, they have no phones, they're confined to that place. It's the same information. I think that that is so, it's so amazing to me that we all need it. That's my point, is that we all need the same content that we've been teaching and learning from. Alicia, do you have any thoughts that you want to?
Yes, I have a few. Let's see if I can remember.
No, I'm sorry, I went on too long.
No, that's okay. First of all, for sure, the love and compassion, they can feel that. If we were to go in there just thinking like we know it all and we're here to teach you all this stuff, no, we're there because we get it. We've been, like you said, that you know what they've been through and they can relate to you. And that's so, it's so surprising for them. It's so cute that they're just like, what? You understand? Like, it was just, anyway, I just love that they,
My favorite moment, honestly.
we're on their level and we're there to really just offer love and nothing else. I mean, yes, the tools, but we just want them to know that we are there because we love them. And the other thing that I have learned through this is that because I am on the other side of the addiction, you know, I'm the one, I've been on the other side of going through with a spouse, you know, feeling the pain and the hurt and all of that that comes with somebody that has the addiction. And for them, I think to see that I want them to succeed, that I don't have the hard,
Resentment.
huh?
Resentment.
Yes, the resentment or that, yeah, like all the negativity. I want the best for them. And I want the best for everybody because this life is not about always living in shame and regret and turmoil. And so for them to be able to see that not only is there somebody there that understands them, but somebody that has lived on the other side of it that's also loves them for who they are. And I feel like that is anyway, it's cool to see that, but I had some other thoughts too, but now
I feel like the symbolism in what you just shared in a simple way is that we can live in our own prison, which is where, you know, like the average person could be living across the street, or these women that are in the rehab living in our own prison, but learning how to set yourself free from that, you know, learning to liberate yourself from that place of darkness and confinement. And so whether you're confined or not, I mean, it's all a mindset,
yeah,
a place you reach in your mind.
But being able to share that with so many people in our lives, with our children, starting with our children, probably, you know, and yeah, and slowly helping them to see and being able to take these tools into their lives and reminding them, because it is a constant reminder to ourselves and to help others, you know, yeah, just bringing it up so it's in their forefront of their day, instead of them struggling with whatever they're going through and not realizing, oh yeah, I do know what to do in this moment.
Or recognizing, so on a smaller scale, like we were talking about, not necessarily having to go into rehabs, but starting with our children, doing it in our home where you feel comfortable. Once you've, you know, done the work inside, you understand, and teaching it to like our closest, just sharing those ways of navigating through hard times, of navigating through emotions, of, you know, the importance of gratitude for our bodies and loving ourselves. But even so, this is.
You just went on mute.
So his different way is just serving, again, from love and compassion in his own way, which is, you know, somebody's on the side of the road, he pulls over.
Who are you talking about?
Tom.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, so Tom has his own way of serving. It's different than my way because my past is an addiction. So I'm drawn to recovery, and his way is like, okay, if somebody needs help, I'm going to help them. So, in the past I was like, you can't pull over right now. We've got to be somewhere. But that's who he is, and that's how he serves, and that's how he is able to receive that back, is knowing that he is helping someone with some little thing that they can't do or that they're having a hard time with. That's his place of being able to serve with love and compassion, and to feel that feeling of, that felt amazing. I mean, like that, not doing it for expectations of anything in return, just doing it because that's who he is. That's just how he's designed and who he is. And so I'm just giving you different examples of how we can serve, because it doesn't have to come from a place of going somewhere and presenting to a bunch of ladies. It can be just you and your best friend, and what is your dynamic like? Just being aware of that. Like, is your best friend like telling you all the things that are negative, and you're like, oh yeah, you're right, oh that's horrible, yeah, she is this and he is that, and like, I can't believe he would do that to you, like, are you just feeling the fire of someone who feels powerless? Or could you gently anchor them back to a place where they actually feel empowered to make a change or do something different in their own life? And instead of going from he, she, they, you, to me and I, like, how can I manage this moment? How can I change my perception? How can I use this as an opportunity for growth? Or how can I expand and grow from this situation? Like, that gives you the control back, like, that is ultimately how we find peace in our lives, because we'll never be able to control what everybody's doing. Are we going to fuel the drama, or are we going to, like, find inner peace by bringing it back to us? And Elise is an expert in that, of course. Did you remember what you were?
Not exactly, but I did have another thought of that it really is difficult to pass it on to others when we're still in the middle of healing, because we just don't have the energy for it, and we're still working so hard on ourselves. So I don't want you to feel like you have to now start doing more, because right now it's about healing yourself and creating a place of peace and safety, I guess, for your own self. And then when you are able to establish that, and you'll know, because I remember being in the place where I didn't want to go out with friends. And I know I've mentioned this before in here, but where I was basically isolating myself, because when you're doing that, you have nothing to give to anybody else. And so little by little, when we start being able to strengthen ourselves, strengthen our foundation of who we are, and really learning more about ourselves, learning why we love ourselves. I love myself, and I can look in the mirror and say that to myself, so when you get to a point where you really feel like you have that good solid foundation, then it will naturally overflow to others, because you're able to be there for others and hold space for them in their pain and their hurt, instead of coming back to, well, me, I don't know, I feel like when we're still in the depths of healing, everything is about ourselves, which is okay, because we're repairing. But when you're able to stay in a place where you're just listening to others and holding that safety for them, then that's when you know that you're I don't know. Does that make sense? That
It
you
makes so much sense. Yes.
to provide more for others.
Yes.
Yeah.
I'm glad that you brought that up because we don't want it to feel like, oh, this is your next step. No, it's exactly the way you worded it, is that you naturally overflow, and you'll know when you're at that point where you can give. And if you're not at that point, then you're in the perfect point because you're still healing. And, and again, you don't have to be completely healed. I mean, it's always a process.
Right.
But you can just be more aware of, okay, how am I feeling this situation? Am I feeling it to empower someone, or am I feeling it to keep them in their loop of the cycle of disappointment, sadness? I mean, like, people feel sad, that's normal. What am I trying to say?
Yeah, I know what you're saying, but
In the cycle that it's
like the negative cycle.
Negative cycle. Thank you. Yes. In the negative cycle, or am I empowering someone? So let's see. There was one more point that I was thinking that I wanted to share. Shoot, I don't remember. Dang it. I should have put it down. Well, I thought of it. But anyway, is there anything else that is coming up?
No, I think that yeah, I think that we covered all of it, unless we have another thought. But yeah, I think that's it. Just knowing that we working on ourselves, and then it will expand to others.
Yes, for sure. And so grateful that we're able to do that. Oh, this is the last point, is that if sometimes you feel like I don't have anything to offer to others, like we talked about more intimate situations, but the way that I found my place of purpose was, it was the place where I was the most hurt by, if that makes sense, the most pain that I experienced, the place where I didn't want most people to know. Like, for a long time I lived with, I don't want my neighbors to know that I have a passive addiction, and the part where you just are like, it's the hardest part, really, for me. And it's so interesting that that's where your purpose lies. Like, my purpose is recovery. I went through that pain, and I didn't put my family through all of that for nothing. That actually serves a purpose in my life now. And for me to just, like, be transparent about that and say, yes, I come from a past of addiction. You can receive me into your life, or you cannot, and that's okay, because I know what my true purpose is. If you had a great loss in your life, then maybe that's the place where your purpose lies. Like, if you, whatever it is that you've struggled with, like, some sort of eating disorder, that's probably where your purpose lies. It's in the place where you've had the most pain, and where you can relate to others going through the same thing. And even if that just means you're posting encouraging things on your social media platforms, in that respect, there's somebody going to be scrolling through that you relate to, that's exactly what they're going through, that you're going to change the outcome of that day for them because of your enlightenment, if that makes sense. So
yeah, that's beautiful.
When we're talking about serving others and empowering others, just think about that we all have that special gift. It's not just Alicia with yoga and meditation, or me with my addiction recovery. Everybody has that powerful gift to give others, and the passion to do it because they know what it feels like. They know the soul and the heart and all of that situation. And so, just food for thought as we end today is, where is your gift? You have one, guaranteed. We all do. Yeah. Thank you guys so much for being a part of this series with us. I hope that we're able to share it with more people, And, we recorded them to hopefully keep it going, because I just feel like it has been so valuable in my life, and hoping that it has the same impact in others. We love you, and we thank you so much for joining us and being here with us.
Bye, guys. Thank you.